Okay, so by now you probably noticed that I make videos impromptu and just randomly, and I make videos according to what has crossed my mind, and I literally do not filter my videos out or edit them, or I put it out there. Whatever I record, it's a one take and it's one and done, and I'm putting it out there. I want to address insecurities. This is near and dear to my heart because I grew up with a lot of insecurities. A lot of insecurities. Unlike a lot of my other videos, I'm not going to blame parents on this one. So let's go in for this ride. My insecurities stemmed purely from myself as a child, and how I looked at myself as a child and what I compared myself to as a child. It all started from childhood. Like many young girls that have gone through the phase of insecurity, a lot of this had started from childhood. Either someone said something or did something, and that kind of just like blueprinted in our minds and ingrained in our heads, and we grew up with that insecurity, whatever the insecurity was. Personally, for me, my insecurity was, I'm Nigerian, right? That's not an insecurity. That's a flex these days. But, I have two Nigerian parents, but I was born and raised in Ethiopia. If you know anything about Ethiopia, they have, in my opinion, the most beautiful woman in the world. In the world. But as a kid, like, I'm not checking for that. I wasn't looking at that. I really wasn't. Um, I liked my features, kind of. I liked my features. Like, I was okay with my complexion. I was okay with my face. I was okay with that. My biggest insecurity as a child was my hair. Ethiopian women have such beautiful, like, bouncy curls. Everyone has like a preference when it comes to hair. Some people like straight hair, some people like curly hair, some people like dark hair, some people like light hair. For me as a child, like, there's nothing I wanted more than a big bouncy curly fro. Like, I had a fro, but my fro looked more like I was electrocuted than anything. And to top it off, I was raised predominantly around boys, so none of them taught me how to do my hair. That was my insecurity, my hair. There was nothing wrong with it back then. There's nothing wrong with it right now. But as a child, like, I didn't have the guidance that I needed. I'm surrounded by boys. I'm not going to go too deep into why I was surrounded by boys in my childhood. That's a topic for another day. Like, where was your mom? Where's your dad? I'll get into that eventually one day. But bottom line is, I was surrounded by a lot of boys in my upbringing, like my brothers in particular, and they definitely were not doing my hair for me. So here I am with my afro, quote unquote, and I'm getting like ropes and tying it like into pigtails. I did not know how to do my hair, so half the time I look like a crazy person. I just did not know how to do my hair, so that was my biggest insecurity. Um, growing up, no one really said anything to me. No one really inflicted any kind of reason for me to be insecure about anything. Honestly, the insecurity was internalized. Like, I just did not know how to get the nice bouncy curls, and I had to find out later on in life. Like, it's in the DNA. Either you have it or you don't. I do not have it, and that's okay. That's okay. Um, Let me get serious now. Let me get into the deeper parts of this. Like, you're surrounded by beauty, and it didn't necessarily mean that I didn't feel like I was beautiful or I didn't think I was beautiful, because everyone's beautiful in their own way, right? I just didn't look like these beautiful Ethiopian women. I didn't look like a beautiful Nigerian woman either. I I didn't know what the heck I was. Like, I was a confused individual. I was just a girl, tomboy girl. I wanted to be a girl so bad. Like, I am a girl. I was born a girl and everything, but like, I was a tomboy because I'm surrounded by like my brothers, and I was a confused child. Confused child. So that a lot of my insecurities actually stemmed from confusion, like where I fit in. I didn't have Nigerian friends. I had a lot of friends from every other part in Africa except Nigeria, so I didn't really have like a Nigerian upbringing, quote unquote. Um, but like, I feel like I'm drifting from what I'm trying to talk about. It was as I grew older that I'm starting to see things in the magazines, and I'm starting to see things on TV, and it's like, in order to be considered beautiful, you need to have a smaller nose, you need to have straight hair. It's like, when you grow older, for in much knowledge there is grief. It's a Bible verse, and it made so much sense. Like, the older I was growing, the more it all started to make sense to me why I did not feel attractive as a kid. And I had to get to a point where I had to define my own beauty standards. Like, I had to look at things about myself that I liked and just stick with that. Instead of focusing on what I didn't have, I focused on what I had. That was like my sort of coming of age, coming to accept myself and accept what I look like. Again, there is absolutely, personally, in my opinion, nothing wrong with how I look, nothing wrong with how I looked. I mean, I looked crazy. I looked rough as a kid. I would look for pictures. I looked terrible as a kid, but there was really nothing wrong. It just shows that I had like a very playful childhood. I was out in the dirt playing and rough. I was rough. I was a tomboy. Nothing wrong with that. It means I had a very good outdoor life, so to speak. Um, the insecurities really came when I was older. They say kids are mean, but adults can be meaner. Um, I heard the term ugly as I was growing older. And I don't know if it's like just people trying to get under your skin when they have a bone to pick with you, but it hurt. That's when I started to hear that term more and more. Like, it was from mainly guys that you've rejected. So I guess there's a reason behind it. But that's when I started to hear that term more and more. And then the mistake I made was like, I let it get to me. I started looking at myself like, oh my God, is my nostrils, like, is it my nose? Is it my eyes? Are they too far apart? Like, my eyebrows, like, what can I do? And I'm 30, and until this day, like, I still have my insecurities. I don't think there's any human being out there that does not have insecurities. But I had to, I literally had to come up with that personal decision to say, I'm not going to let these things get to me. Because I'm not. Like, I was a happy child, and I guess, like a lot of people, like, you grow up, and for in much knowledge there's grief, and your happiness kind of dwindles. Like, if you look at your pictures from childhood, for a lot of people, you're smiling, and then the older you grow, it's like less smiles in your picture. I never really realized this until I started looking back at my pictures. I'm like, damn, what happened? Like, life kind of humbles you. Life will kick you down. Life will beat you up. Life will give you more reasons to look at yourself beyond just the surface sometimes. Like, so I feel like that's how the insecurities kind of died out. It was less about how I looked and more about what I was going through. You don't have time to focus on what you look like anymore because you have bigger fish to fry, if you know what I mean. Like, you're not worried anymore about like what your hair looks like, or I mean, yeah, you want to look presentable, you want to face the world and not look like you live in a crazy house, but at the same time, when you have bigger things to deal with as you grow up, I think that's part of the growth of like the things that you were insecure about before become insignificant, and you have more bigger things to be insecure about, if you know what I mean. So the older I grew, the less I was worried about my appearance. And that's why I'm able to make these YouTube videos without wanting to put 100 filters on them, because I look back at them like, oh my God, this camera really makes me look some kind of way, but it's okay. It's okay. I said that when I was going to start this YouTube channel, I was going to keep it 100. So this is me keeping it 100. I'll play around with filters sometimes because, like, I need to spare you guys this face sometimes, like make it smoother, whatever. I don't know what people do on these YouTube videos. That's why I'm the African auntie, learning how to use the internet. Spicy. But yeah, as you grow older, the things that you're insecure about will, for most people, die off. Because you will have bigger issues to be worried about. Student loans, hello. You will have so many more, and I don't mean to depress you or add on to, like, if you're a young person watching this, I don't mean to rub this in your face. You're gonna have so much bigger things to worry about than what you look like. I mean, take care of yourself, embrace yourself, love yourself. Take what you love about yourself and run with it. What you don't like about yourself, if you can work on it, work on it. Not encouraging surgery, no. I mean, like, if that's what you want to do, I have no comment. But like, what you can work on, whatever insecurity it is, if it's something that can be changed, go for it. If it's not something that can be changed, work on embracing it. I have a big forehead. I don't even want to show you, but this is how I embrace it. I hide it. I have a lot of scarves. I hide it. So, I mean, when you have student loans climbing up your neck, the last thing you're worried about is how big your forehead is. Trust me. Trust me. I don't know if that's a form of consolation that you're going to be less worried about what you look like when you face more bigger problems as an adult. That's adulting 101. Because you look back at your pictures where you were trying so hard when you're younger to look a certain way, or because back then we really had so much time in our hands to worry about superficial stuff. But when you're older, the last thing you're going to be worried about is the number of spots on your face. I hope that won't be something that will give you reason to worry about. I promise you're going to have bigger things to worry about. So it kind of like in your brain, it kind of says, scoot over. It's time to worry about this now. Like, forget that pimple. We'll worry about that later. This is bigger. Your electricity bill is coming. Scoot over, forget the pimples. You might even get more pimples because you're worried about your bills now. So I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just saying that you will grow to love yourself. It will take time. Some people learn to love themselves overnight. Some people learn to love themselves 20 years later. I'm still learning every day. I'm still learning every single day. Like, you define your own beauty standards. No one else defines them for you. Absolutely no one else defines them for you. In a world full of filters and Botox and surgery and BBLs, nothing wrong with that. Don't come at me. In a world full of options and preferences, I'll call them that, find what makes you happy, because you will have bigger things to worry about, much bigger things to worry about. And for those that have a tendency to say things about the appearance of others, you never know what a person is going through. Try and limit your use of certain words that will trigger something in the individual you're trying to target. Like, if you don't have anything nice to say about the way someone looks, don't say it. Keep it to yourself. What you find unattractive is the most attractive thing to someone else. What you find attractive is the most unattractive thing to someone else. We live in a world where all of us have different eyeballs. No two people share the same eyeballs. So what you see in your eyes, someone else is seeing with their eyes. With that being said, define your own beauty standards. And, just like Judge Judy said, beauty fades, but dumb is forever. Invest more in this and less in this. Because this is all going to fade. You are going to get old. You're going to get wrinkles. It doesn't mean it's unattractive. It's not unattractive. Like, if anything is attractive, it shows that you've come in of age. Like, aging, I'm going to cut this out. It's so hard to say stuff without, like, sounding offensive. But, like, as you grow older, you're going to get wrinkles. It's biological. You are going to get older. You're going to get wrinkles. Your hair is going to gray. Your hair is going to thin. It's a part of life. Judge Judy said, beauty fades, dumb is forever. So to translate that, don't worry too much about the superficial external stuff. Worry about what's inside. Worry about the things that have substance, the things that will get you somewhere in life, Your electricity bills will get you somewhere in life. I know people make a living out of their looks, but they have so many other ways of making a living too beyond their looks. There's so many other ways to make a living beyond what's on the outside. Trust and believe that. You're beautiful. If no one has told you that today, I'll tell you that. You're absolutely beautiful. You're handsome to the men. We always tend to forget that men growing up have had their own insecurities and probably still have their own insecurities. You're very handsome. You're a very handsome man if you're watching this. You're absolutely handsome, young fella. We're all gonna grow old one day. We got to accept that. And just be kind. Just be kind. Be kind with your words. And you just never know what insecurity someone is battling inside. If someone's already battling something, the last thing they want is someone adding onto it from the outside. It doesn't help. We're all trying to grow. We're all trying to do better. We're all just trying to overcome a lot of hurdles in our lives. The last thing we need is someone stumping us down. You don't hit a horse when it's down. You're not even supposed to hit a horse, period. But there's the saying, like, you don't hit a dead horse. If someone is at their lowest moment, the last thing they need is someone adding onto it and putting them even lower. I mean, how much lower can you get when you're at rock bottom? This is something that I guess is my little motivational speech here. When you're at your lowest point in life, you can only go high from there. Like, if I throw this on the floor right now, I'm gonna pretend it's the floor. It can't go any lower than that. I can only pick it up, right? So when you're at your lowest point in life, you can't get any lower than that. The only direction from there is up. Rock bottom means you're going up. When you hit rock bottom, you can't go any lower than that. You are gonna go up. So you'll be fine. This is my longest video so far. Like I said, I do not edit my videos. I don't filter them. I just video and I upload because it's what's going through my crazy mind at that very moment. Like, whatever thoughts are going through my head at that moment, I video it and I put it up. I hope you have a great rest of your day, beautiful people, handsome people. You will all be fine. Thank you.